So we're live on Facebook. You know what? Let me go ahead and share it before I play the video. But then again, I'll have to find it again. Let's just go. Let me play it.
The most ironic thing on earth that I actually saw once I... The most ironic thing on earth that I actually saw once I came into this industry was that the wealthiest people that I come across on a day-to-day basis usually tend to be the people who spend the least amount of money. They're the least flashy. So when I first started out in this industry and someone would come into my office right here, they'd come right into this office here, and they would come in and they would be, decked out. I'm talking designer clothes, the nice shoes, the jewelry, everything like that. Hair done, just everything's perfect. And I would think to myself, okay, all right, we're about to do something today. I'm thinking this is somebody with some money. And then you get past all of that, and they put out the receipts, when they show you the receipts and show you the actual, like their documents, their accounts and everything like that, the least amount of money. But then the one who pulls up in your office in a 5-year-old, 10-year-old Subaru, wearing really just like plain clothes, nothing over the top. These are the folks with millions of dollars in assets. Millions. Cash. I'm talking cash. And to me, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I'm like these people who are dressed up in designer clothes who are not retaining money. Of living this fabulous life during your working years, and you create no financial foundation for yourself later on, and then when you hit retirement, you have nothing. You go from middle class to lower middle class, or middle class to broke. Do you know how many people are facing insolvency? They are going to go broke in retirement because they're so busy being fabulous during their working years. Beyond that, even, let's take retirement off the table. Let's think about the here and now. What happens if you were to lose your job? What happens if the economy goes down? I would think about that. You know, at the time, it was just me. I didn't have this huge team back then. And I said, what happens if this company falls apart because we hit a major recession and nobody's really thinking about financial products? I didn't know. What would happen then? I've created this massive lifestyle that's based on being so fabulous, and I had no cash reserve for myself. And so when I think about, what's the step that we can take to create financial freedom for ourselves, I really do think it's a matter of reducing your expenses as much as possible. Stop imitating the lifestyles of people who have less financial security than you do. Some of the very people that we are imitating, some of the very people we're trying to impress, they have no financial security. Let me tell you this. I'm not here to tell nobody's business. I'm not giving no names on nobody. But I have sat there in the meetings. I see this. And the very people who you would think show the image of total wealth and total just exceptional financial, gain. These people look like they're making a lot of money. They do make a lot of money. They spend the same amount of money.
All right. Welcome back to the Wantrepreneur to Entrepreneur Shift the Culture podcast. That was just a little snippet. I forget the young man's name, but it's a video that I saw that was circulating on Facebook a while back.
Very dope video.
And it really resonated with me. And so it's kind of the motivation for today's topic, which is money management, which is something that I think lots of people wrestle with, especially in this country, where we are basically consumers. And we are also brainwashed by mainstream media and big corporations that we have to buy certain things and live certain lifestyles.
Everywhere in the world.
Basically.
Yeah.
And so we're going to discuss how you should manage your funds. And it's not only on an entrepreneurial level, but on a general level, basically for anyone, how you should manage your money so that you can have a fulfilled life and you won't be dependent, basically. And like the gentleman said, if something was to happen, some crisis or some crash or something was to go wrong, you lose your job or something, you would at least have something that you can sustain yourself with. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get into mistakes people make when it comes to their finances, what causes them to make these decisions, and how we can avoid making these poor decisions and sustain at least some amount of cash flow so that we could live the way we should be living. So Gail isn't here, as you can see. It's just me and Travis rocking out today. Yep. So we're gonna get deep into this. Travis, tell me your thoughts. When you saw that video, what was the first thing that went through your mind when you saw that video?
Well, I thought it was good. I thought that it was amazing how he kind of condensed it in that 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. But it was something like that I was privy to before. If anybody watched Fight Club, and they had that part of Fight Club where they talk about we buy these things to impress people we don't like in order to do things that we don't want to do, or get these things that But like, and that's true in a sense that like when you really, I think, especially being in a materialistic environment where you have to, you feel like your self-worth is wrapped up in this big chain or this ring or, this. And I think we talk about like David Yurman jewelry and all that stuff, the nice cars. I think people's identity get tied up in that.
Yes.
And along with being with their friends or their family or people that they're around that kind of have those same bad habits, it's always like you're always playing a game of one-upmanship. Like you have to get the next thing next year or do this next thing. And what that does is that it kind of puts you in a bad position if you are building your life around the acquisition of these things to feel good now versus going over the long term. And then again, to privy this show, it's like we all had these situations ourselves in terms of managing finances. Because one, initially when we were at a younger age, we didn't really think too much about it. Especially if, you got either a good job when you got straight out of school or, whatever that is. or you have, if you have been privileged enough to come from a great family where you really don't have to worry about too much of that. Versus people who are living above their means, trying to impress people where they're spending these things that they really don't have, trying to rack up, they're racking up a lot of debt in order to have these things just to say they have it and keep those outside appearances. I think the biggest thing for me in terms of having a goal of mine to be a little bit more financially responsible is like one of the things that I've heard, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was just the first step is like being aware how much money you have coming in and how much money you have coming out.
Right.
And that is one of the biggest slaps of reality that you don't realize. It's like me, I was always a person that like when I decided to start really managing and monitoring what my spending was, I always kept receipts, and I use Evernote, which like is amazing. That's my go-to tool, and I took photos of receipts that I would have. So like I wouldn't like actually keep the physical one. Right. I would have a digital copy, and I did that for like a month, and I monitored like how much I was spending on fast food.
And how surprised
and
were
how
you
it was crazy. It was crazy. Like you spend so much money on fast food. You spend so much. Yeah, food alone. That's how much it's crazy. Coffee was a big thing for me as well. I've completely started transitioning from like going to Starbucks less and less, and like making my own coffee, and even that alone saves up more things. And another goal of mine is being tied like to eating healthier and eating better. And sorry for the guitar, the drum roll thing right there, but like I started cooking in batch now.
Okay.
And
you can cook it.
I'm getting there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting there. But one of the things I noticed in terms of putting it back to my spending is like how much money you save in the week. Like me cooking and prepping for the week, I think came up to about $4.59.
Hold on, what?
I would spend $4.59 for like a meal, like lunch, per day.
Oh, you already do it down to $4.
Yeah, I did it down to that. But that's again, it was like, and I think kind of like moving to my own place kind of jumpstarted me to kind of look at my habits, which is a big part of like how you do your finances.
Right.
And I was like, okay, let me look how to monitor and do all these things different better. And I got it down to like the T in terms of like how much I would spend on groceries or how much I did that. And like $4.59 for a meal versus like on average going to a fast food restaurant spending like $7 to $9 on lunch.
It like adds every day.
Up.
Yeah, because it's every day and it's multiple times a day.
Yeah.
So that adds up a lot, like rather quickly. Actually, it really adds up. And it's a good thing you mentioned that, because that's a big part of it where we don't track our expenses.
Right.
And I just recently started doing that. How long have I been tracking my expenses? I want to say just over a year, maybe 2 years. maybe 2 years the most. And this is after being in business for 5 years. So the first 3 years or so, I don't have I would pile up the receipts. I would keep the receipts, right? But then they would just end up piling up to the point where you just want to throw them away. So that was a good thing. Like you said, the app allows you to take a picture of the receipt.
Yeah, you just take a photo and it digitizes it where you get it.
So, and that's what the app that I have, I use Bottom Line as an app for sales as well as expenses.
Right.
And so I can keep track of the sales and expenses because, like you said, you want to know how much money you have coming in and then how much is going out. So that allows me to do that. And with the expenses app, it allows you to take a picture of the receipt so you have a digital copy as well. But so that's a good thing for business owners. Now, as far as business owners and just regular people, we have to get outside of spending money we don't have on things we don't need to impress people we don't like, right? We all caught up in trying to look a certain way for other people. It ain't even for your benefit. It's for you to look a certain way for other people. And we put ourselves in ridiculous positions and deep in debt just to try and impress people. Like
I think it's crazy to me that like I was in the movies and they had a commercial for said bank promoting to take out a loan to go on a vacation.
Yes.
They have advertisers running people to take out a loan to go on vacation, and that's almost is
it's ridiculous.
It's parasitic almost to the point.
It is
because the thing is no fault to the. I mean, the bank's got to do what the bank's got to do, whatever it is. But the person, for you trying to always play one up and feel like you have to go on this family vacation or do this thing or buy this thing, that's where you get into danger because it allows you to make those decisions that aren't really necessarily disciplined decisions. That could put you in a hole.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It will put you in a hole. Not could. It will put you in a hole.
Yeah.
Because where does it end? You know what I mean? Because you get this one
you
thing.
You never satisfy that. It's always a bigger thing that you got to do.
Exactly. You get the 32-inch TV. Now the 42-inch TV, you got to get that. Now the 50-inch, you got to get that. Then they got the 60 with the curve in it. Then you got to get that. So it never ends. And I think it's just people trying to get that instant gratification or satisfaction in the moment to satisfy a low self-esteem. We have a low self-esteem, and so we try to make ourselves feel better by spending unnecessary monies on things that we perceive are going to make us bigger than we see ourselves.
And the thing is, I don't think it's a combination of self-esteem for a lot of different things for most people. But I also believe that people that didn't have don't feel like they have more like their own self-worth. But not like starting at a low self-esteem. They just didn't know any better. They just feel like these are the things that you need to do to associate yourself. So it's almost unconscious to the thing. And you build a life around that, and then you could start to topple and feel like these are the things that defy you. But again, you have those people on that low self-esteem that feel like, oh, I have to, I might have a hole through my shirt, but I gotta be on this fresh ride. Just to say something for a moment and for a day, and they trade those short-term gratifications for what could happen in the future, which we don't know. A lot of things could happen. A lot of people who especially spend a lot of these money, a lot of people ain't on health insurance.
Exactly.
What happens when life happens or things that you have to do and you ain't in a position to put yourself. You have to be able to think a little bit longer than today in order to not only be a better entrepreneur, but also be, financially sound. You want to be comfortable in yourself and what you do.
And what kills me is people with children. You have the ultimate
expenses.
Responsibility as being a parent. You are responsible for someone else's life, but yet you're Remy more important than buying the Pampers. You understand? I don't get it. It makes no sense. And like you said, it's dangerous now because it's become a culture. It's become a part of our culture, so it's second nature. It isn't even something that we think about.
No.
It's something that just happens because it's now become our culture. This is second nature to us. This is what we do. And what really upsets me is when I see them buying. Lord, let me.
Number.
You're on the bus.
Number.
People can get mad, right? Yeah. But you're on the bus stop. You got one child in your hand, one on your arm, one in your hand, one walking behind you, and they got on Jordan tennis, polo shirt, and handshake.
Fresh up.
All fresh up. Little babies who don't know or care nothing about name brands at this point, right? But you spending money, or maybe you didn't spend it, maybe someone buy it for them. But you are putting them in these things that are expensive, but you have yourself in a position to where you have to be lagging these children on the bus. I mean, there's nothing wrong with catching the bus. I mean, that's
No,
fine if
that's
you catch the bus.
different, yeah.
I ain't saying everybody who catches the bus is something wrong with that. But it's difficult to be traveling with these people, hopping from bus to get around town.
Why
You have
not
to
save
stand
it
on
in
the
order
corner.
to solve that bigger problem
Yes.
versus just getting these
Because
things
you have to
in
stand, because you have to stand there, you have to wait for the bus to come first of all, so you're standing on the corner for this long while. Then you have to go there, then probably where you go in, you can't just take one bus, you got to hop on another one. It's an inconvenience. So if you would have your own vehicle, if you would manage your funds better, and you had your own transportation, you would have put yourself in a better position.
And again, disclaimer: we understand the difficult. Like different people have different circumstances.
Right.
Definitely, but I think it's. I think the most important thing again is to like. Obviously, you're not in a place where you want to be financially. Why not take a step back and try to figure out how to solve those problems? Like, or even whatever the problem is, why not you figure out, okay, what's the biggest thing to tackle that will give me the most relief, and focus on that. Where I think it comes to finances, especially on a subconscious level, finances is very tied to the ego, how much money equates to what you have. But a lot of things that we do are very habitual. Especially, okay, going back again to fast food. We have a number of fast food places where it's very convenient to eat and get some place to, think of. It's way more convenient than sitting home and cooking yourself. Especially if you're not into that, and especially with the hustle and bustle of our life in general. So these things are strategically placed in these positions to do it. Now, what happens is that you pay this amount, and this amount is over time is dramatically different. Not even talking about how it could affect you on a health wise or all those different things, but you don't think about spending the $7. You don't ask yourself, am I really, is this value to me of spending the $7? Is this going to feed me or not, like make me satisfied and hunger? No, but it's so clockwork, you don't even notice it. Yeah. So a lot of the things that you do, spending money. Yeah, same thing with liquor too. You buying liquor or you drink. If Friday hit, you gotta buy a 6-pack, and you do it every Friday, and then all those things add up, and you lose track over time.
Yeah, you wonder where the money going, and that's why
Yeah.
a lot of people live in paycheck to paycheck, which is extremely dangerous. And so it's all a matter of being disciplined, and also I got my own mic down. Hold on, what was this? Let me see. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I thought I got the.
Sorry, everybody.
Yep. Okay. Good. We good. Okay. So yeah, it's a matter of managing your funds properly, so that you could be in a better position. Because I don't like to hear people. I don't want to hear excuses from people, especially if you had the money, but you didn't do with it what you should have done. You had the money come through your hands and you let it slip right out and go and buy something that you didn't need. I don't like to hear excuses in that regard. And so, like I was telling you before we started, right? I have been called cheap my entire life by my ma, by my aunts, anybody that know me. My reputation was Greg Cheap, right? And what we tend to equate being cheap to is because you don't spend your money on the things we think you should be buying, you cheap.
You spending it wrong. You cheap.
Because you want to save your money and not spend it foolishly, you cheap. Because you ain't buy some new shoes, mind you, I got shoes. I mean, I don't need no new shoes. I have shoes. But because you ain't buy no new shoes or no new outfit to go to this one event, you cheap. So that's what we consider cheap. So I was quite fine with being cheap because that is stupid to me.
Right. It does not
makes
make
no
sense.
sense. And I tell them all the time, I say, okay, listen, you can call me cheap all you want, but I could guarantee you one thing. I ain't gonna never ask you for no money.
Right, exactly.
I bet you can come ask for money for something though.
You yourself won't be dependent in a situation where once that money come in and go, you have nothing to hold on to in case of an emergency or something like that. And me personally, I think whatever has the most impact makes the most sense. If I'm spending this amount of money on this thing that is just an item versus spending this money to get me out of debt, there's no comparison. But people flip that around and saying, "Oh, I gotta have this." Yep. Or they put excuses saying, "I need this because this is my recreation time, or this is my thing, and this is how I." Oh, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to either save or increase wealth, like the dude talked in the video, is like you have to decrease your expenses and then increase like how much money you have coming in, which is another part of that as well. Is that
Yes.
most people don't have that mobility in order to increase their expenses past a certain point, and or they put themselves in a position where it's like 1 and 1 almost. Like how much you bring in is actually how much you cost versus actually trying to build that wealth. You have people trying to get in different investments and trying to do more things, especially recently I found, like locally. But that's the only way you really make impact, and then being aware of how much money you save and how you cut down costs. Do you have to have a phone plan, or do you have to have cable, or are you watching Netflix? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, do you really just watch Netflix and not like the 80 channels that you think you need to have on this box?
On the
It's like,
package.
you got to keep asking yourself these questions. You got to keep tweaking. There's always a formula.
And the thing is, and like you just said, what's the important component too is your income. Because I tell people, I say all the time, okay, listen. When you tell them that, listen, you need to cut back on this or cut back, when you talk about cutbacks, people generally don't want to hear that.
Yeah, people don't like
Especially when they
the word budget.
Right,
They
especially
don't
when
like
they
the word
become
budget.
accustomed to it. So I say, okay, fine, that's fine. Okay, you don't want to cut these things out.
Right.
Well, you need to make some more money.
Yeah.
So those are your options. Either you can cut
If
back.
you want things to change.
Yes, if you want things to change, you want to put yourself in a better position. Either you cutting back on the unnecessary expenses, or you increasing your income, or both. A combination of both. But see, I think people just want to make noise because they want to complain. They don't want to hear that. They want, but how I can make more money? But I don't want to cut back. I got to watch Love and Hip Hop and VH1 only on the premium package. So I got to pay for that. I need my internet. So we start to put our wants above our needs. We want the luxuries over the necessities. And this is where it's gone wrong. And we continue to continue on this culture, and now it's so ingrained to, like you say, second nature now.
Yeah.
People just do it, and they they will put a little something on the light bill so it stay on, but they can pay full price for the $360 wave. You understand? So we need to get our priorities in order. That's where we've gone out. We messed up, and we put priorities on the wants as opposed to the needs, and yet we always want to complain and don't want to change it. So we need to cut back on those unnecessary expenses. I know it hard.
Again, I think we brought up in the last episode, but like that whole scenario, someone did a social study where they offered somebody $100 now or $200 5 days from now, some future thing, and people took the $100 now because they got it now versus waiting the long term in order to get $200. So it's like it's discipline at the end of the day, but just like with all things.
I recently saw a post that was Gaelic. I think Gail posted something the other day, and it was a study with some college students, and I think they said they gave them the option: do you want a company to pay you $50,000 or $100,000?
Same principle. It's the same thing. Yeah.
But it sounds like a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
I would.
But no,
take
people want that.
$100,000. But what they did was they threw in a caveat, right? So the $50,000, what they told them was, with this $50,000, you would be making twice as much as your companions, as your people, right? You'll be making twice as much as them. And they told 100,000 people with $100,000, your companions would be making twice as much as you.
Right.
So you would be making 50% less than them with the $100,000. Do you know that most students took the $50,000 just because they would be making twice as much as their counterparts?
Yeah.
So it was all about doing better than your people.
And it goes back
less money.
Want versus need again. So like that conversation is like, okay, I could do this now, or like, what do I really need? Like, what are my expenses, or like, and that's hard. I'm not claiming for a second to be a financial guru, because all these things that I try to do, and some of them I still like don't get. Again, is trying to form those habits. You know what I mean? Some days, Mickey D's might be way more convenient than cooking.
Right.
But you have to, if you want to see things change, you got to try different things. You got to make necessary changes.
Yeah. So Jay,
isn't that right, Jay?
Yeah, Jay just joined us.
Is this a Ponzi scheme you guys talking
No,
about?
Jay, no, that was 5 episodes.
Yeah, we're talking about money management.
Okay.
We about to wrap up in a minute, but you could contribute. We're just talking about how people tend to spend unnecessary monies on things that they don't need, so that they can impress people or live certain lifestyles, look like they're doing well,
Right.
just to impress other people, and they put themselves in bad positions by doing so. So you could quickly give us your thoughts on that, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, I don't know what to say because that is the absolute truth. That's just the society that we live in. We're a consumer-based society. Keeping up with the Joneses has been the theme, I would dare say, for the last 50 years. Especially in the Bahamas, I have an aunt that said literally she will credit until she dies.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It hasn't made any, like, squandered so many great opportunities, had influx of money, and just squandered it foolishly. I mean, like you, Travis, I'm not a financial guru,
Yeah,
right? It's
no.
still a. It's
I
still
just know what hurt me in the past,
Right.
and I just don't want to repeat those.
Right.
and
mistakes.
it
Yeah.
for me is about making quality investments to create residual income for me. And it's not about even doing better than anybody or flaunting, you know. It's just I have my number in my head. I know what'll give me peace for me and my little family that I have right now.
But again, you're thinking about the family,
Right.
Like you're
It's not just me.
You
and
know
I-
what's at stake.
Right, and it's not because
Yeah.
of I need to have a 5-story house
Yeah.
and on rent because I need to look and keep up with someone that living a life. Keep die in my lane. If people would stay in their lane, they would be a lot happier.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
Or even stay in the lane less than that. Like, you would really see and that's hard. That's the hardest thing. It's hard. It's hard for especially parents to like not live above their means, but to try to tell them live below what there is. That's like a whole different. Okay, like whoa.
Yeah,
Like, I guess-
and mind your own business.
Yeah.
Don't mind
No,
what someone
you
else
play
is
your
doing
thing.
because you don't know their
You don't
story.
share those financial
You
numbers.
don't know their story.
And
You
someone
don't-
used to tell me that
yeah.
all the time. Don't worry or watch what other people have because you don't know how they get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't know how they get it, so don't watch what other people have. And like even like I say, you don't have to cut back. You know.
No.
Listen, if you want to have all these things, that's fine. You better find a way
But
to
in
make
that double
some
work.
more money.
No, and one of the things I find it's unfair, but it happens. I don't think there are true partnerships in the household to create wealth. I think it's all on one, and I think it's selfish hoarding on the other. Whether it be the male or the female, because I feel dudes shaded, females shaded, whatever the case is. But life is a team sport, and if you want a certain use lifestyle,
Yeah.
you want to be comfortable,
Work
you have to
together,
do
team.
it together.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll be surprised when you actually pool and go 50-50 with 24,000 if that's your salary, and then the gal making 30. You'll be surprised what you can do with $60,000 in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I completely agree with that. But I mean, you know, there's
People don't like to share.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
That too, but there's other issues that could come in as well. You know, when it comes to people. Well, this one making more, so they may feel like they have.
Well, that's
more, let's say,
the
so-
thing. You know,
Yeah.
that again, that's where ego gets
Let's be
driven in
adults.
as well.
Let's be real and let's be
Yeah.
adults. Know what you want, have the plan, and execute.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a family and you have a kid, first and foremost is a responsibility to make sure that kid get everything.
How's the best
That they need to
education? Not everything that they.
Well, no.
want.
You don't.
I mean,
No,
what
again,
they need,
and
the
that goes
essential
into the
stuff.
thing. And we talked about this earlier in terms you don't want to spoil and that's the thing too. People, our family before us, they had less and they worked their ass off to get us to the point where we could have life a little bit better. We want to do that, and that's kind of a part of the millennial problem too, where the people who had that, the kids got spoiled. They got the world to them. They didn't really have
I
to.
don't know. I don't know if they got spoiled from the stuff that they got because a lot of millennials, especially in our communities, they struggled.
Yeah.
I think it's that ideology of entitlement that really
Yes.
sank in.
That's what I
Yeah,
really meant.
sank in. I
As
don't think
feel
it's
like,
spoiled. I think it's just entitlement.
Yeah.
Someone owe you something.
Yes.
But then that puts you in. But again, and they build habits because you build expectations for yourselves, and you feel like you're supposed to have these things because that's what the track record was. And then now you use that as your guiding light to be like, I have to make this much to do this versus what do I really need? And that's where people get tripped up. That's how people get in the trap. That, okay, I could swipe this credit card, this thing,
Oh,
like I said,
credit card.
especially credit card.
I just got one for the first time.
Now
I'm
again,
like,
with that,
oh.
again, and sometimes you need that credit card to either have a credit score, your
Right,
credit rating, whatever
right.
that is. But even that needs careful thought and strategy.
yep. It
Like
has to- it
most
has to
people
be a
don't know. I
plan.
think like in the States, like you should only spend spend up to 30% of your limit or whatever like that and pay that back. Like it's a science.
I don't even know.
It's a
nothing about it 'cause
science.
I don't own it.
I don't know how scientific
I
it is.
recently
here.
got into the game
Yeah.
with the credit card, and I'm glad I didn't do it earlier. I'm glad I'm more of a
'Cause you know what you need to
responsible
do.
person now.
Yeah.
But Jesus, if I had gotten into that earlier,
Yeah. So stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you
And
have.
stay away from Commonwealth Bank.
Yeah,
people.
you may have a.
I say stay away from freaking unnecessary debt.
Yes.
These people in the bank all the time ask me, you want a credit card? You want a mortgage? I treat that like the plague. When they ask me that, no, please, keep that. I don't want nothing to do with a credit card. Because if I don't have it, then I can't afford it.
That's true.
Knowledge.
That's
If
true.
I don't have it, if this house costs $300,000 and I don't have $350,000, I cannot afford this house. I'm sorry. So I don't want your mortgage or your credit card. Now,
Different. Like I said, we don't
for
know.
you,
Different. I don't
for you,
know.
that's different,
just
and that's
me.
fine. I get
that's
that.
just me. So
You
what I
gotta have
need
the
to
cash
do,
to play.
I need to make $350,000 or
your
more
own peace of mind.
if I want this house.
For your own peace
That's
of mind.
how I live.
However, for me, I'm like this. Okay, if my finances or my grouped finances is enough for me to afford a decent, fair mortgage on a $350,000
There's no such
home.
thing.
No. There is. Because if I say, you know
There
what?
is no
if
such
I
thing
say
as a
I want,
decent,
I
fair
want,
mortgage.
I want my own studio in my house, and I want living dwellings, all that stuff, and I'm building this from the
You have
ground up.
goals and you work to those
Yeah,
goals.
and I say if someone say, you know what, hey Jay, I need you to pay $2,500 a month, whatever the case may be, blah blah blah. And I talk it over with my partner, and it is what it is. It is what it is.
See, and my thing is, I have a rule,
and the thing
right?
is, you could.
It's just like paying rent
But
for
you,
me.
but the thing is, you have the opportunity as an entrepreneur to adjust and realize how you go work hard to like you know what your goal is. So it's okay. Let me work hard to actually hit this goal.
Right.
See,
And most people don't have that. At least right now, that
Yeah.
opportunity to do it because they have a cap on what they could make or what they could bring
Yeah.
in.
My next rule is when it comes to rent, I feel that you should be making your rent with a week's worth of income. That's my personal rule. You should make your
Okay,
rent
that's fair.
with a week's worth of income.
That's fair.
If you
I.e.,
above
your
that,
expenses, your rent should be a quarter of your monthly.
That's fair.
if you above that, you're putting yourself in a bad position because that's just rent. That's not taking into consideration the other expenses that you may have.
Yeah.
And you leave yourself less to retain at the end of the day. So that's me. If I cannot make my rent in a week,
But that's
I
just
need
you.
to
You're not taking it into consideration grouped income and all that stuff. It's
no,
just you.
that's just me. If it's group, if the two of y'all, then you could apply it to the group if that's how you all
Okay.
work your all
Okay.
finances.
But I think that's even better if you apply what your rent is as an individual and you still partner as a group.
But
That's pretty-
but at the end of the day, and I that's a very good rule. However, we live in a jock society where the cost of living we're the highest.
Well, you
top
need
seven.
you need to be home.
No.
If you was
No.
just okay, here's why. And you saying no,
No,
right?
no.
But let's say okay, you are 19-year-old.
Oh, no, that's different. That's different.
20-year-old. But that's what I'm referring to when I say
Oh.
you should still be home.
Okay.
Because if you down to 30, 40 and you ain't accumulate any kind of funds to sustain a decent life, then I mean I don't know what you're doing with yourself. But young person,
percentages.
young person,
Take advantage of staying home for at least
take
5 years.
or room with somebody. If you and your boy, none of y'all want to be home, but together, like you say, if your group income is a quarter of the rent or whatever, and y'all could get a place in your room together,
It make
then y'all do
financial
that.
sense
It does,
where
it does.
you could
You
do
know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah.
And
I know people that do that,
that.
like
Right.
they rent like these 3-bedroom townhouses, but they split the rent
Exactly.
equally. all
And
the
so
time.
it's less. And so
Yeah.
it probably works out to something that's very manageable.
Right.
So these are the things that I think people need to take into consideration. I mean, sure, the big, nice place out here with the rent high, it look good and all of that stuff.
And we're not saying not treat yourself. From time to time, treat yourself.
You have to treat
You have
yourself.
to treat yourself.
Well, that depends on what the
But when
treat
you
is.
treat yourself every week,
You got to be responsible.
you got to be responsible. That's a huge
You have to be
responsibility.
practical. With
Like
the
give
treat.
yourself like say especially if you're a person that likes to travel, like say okay this is my goal to hit, and in 6 months if I hit it, then I
Yeah.
treat myself to go somewhere.
Treating myself is business. to me.
Yeah.
So,
So-
like,
A treat is working
Yeah.
and making money with me. That's a treat.
exactly right. I know.
Family
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Family
Yeah.
time, and that's
Personal
that's-
time. My
yeah.
Xbox 360.
Yeah, so that's my treat. But anyhow, we can wrap this episode up. Thank you, Travis, as usual. Jay, thank you for chiming in at the end. We always
What?
this was episode. What this is again, Travis?
It's
34.
34.
Episode
Where's Gail?
34.
Where's my third
Gail,
strike?
I don't know where Gail is. I don't know what Gail doing. Gail out there making money, man. She
I'm out of that.
yeah, she out there
Preach.
making money. so that she can.
What
get
is your
this.
struggle?
Le hustle.
Say what the who?
The hustle.
Hustle?
The hustle. The
Oh,
hustle.
okay.
I was just trying to say
You trying to
Fancy.
say you trying to say it
Fancy.
like fancy? Le hustle.
le
Le hustle.
hustle.
Yeah,
Say it like Rick Ross.
sound like you were choking or something. So we're gonna wrap up episode 34. People, take heed. Please stop. Listen. Stop spending money you ain't got to impress these damn people you don't like. Stop it. It ain't gonna help you get nowhere. And when you done buy that and you get tired of it, then you gotta buy the new thing would come out, and there will always be a new version because y'all niggas can keep spending money on it. So they can keep making newer versions 6 months after the one you just buy, so they can keep taking your money. So be sensible. Spend your money wisely. So that you ain't got to be crying and complaining that your baby ain't got pampers, you can't do this thing, your light due, and you need to go ask somebody for money. You ain't got no health insurance like Travis said.
Right. One thing too, what helps, especially if you have a close group of friends that have the same goals and wanting to like build wealth or save, it's cool to have accountability partners too. If you could do that, if you have people like you
Or
know,
just stop being selfish and start some sort of capital fund or something like that.
something like that. Wanna
Stop being selfish.
But
Group your resources
think
to
about
create
your
wealth.
money. Think about it as an actual entity versus just a byproduct of your actions and things.
Yes. Yes. So be smart, people. Stop wasting money on stupid things. Don't make no sense. And it ain't gonna help you in life. You can just be an old person who broke and then complaining that your children ain't taking care of you. So we can wrap this episode up with, as we usually do, losers make excuses, winners make adjustments. Thank you for tuning in, people. And spend
Peace.
your money with sense.
Yeah, Gail ain't there, so there's no after show.
No after show?
What you mean no after show? What the hell? Like it's
I kick it
it's
off.
not a staple.
Kick it off.
Well, you have to sing it.
Yeah.
I don't know the song.
Show is the after show. Oh yes, the after show.
Yeah, that's all I say.
That's really good.
Whoa.
Yeah.